The towering enemy surged forward, its body crackling with dark energy. It was determined not to let anyone escape or return to the sanctum, its intent clear and dangerous. Suddenly, Shadow emerged from the chaos, striking the enemy with immense power. The crowd looked on in disbelief, realizing that all the devastating slashes they had seen earlier were caused by him alone. The revelation sent a wave of fear through everyone watching. As the battle raged, someone noticed the Soul Warrior's body had vanished, leaving behind valuable loot. Urgency filled their voice as they urged others to find a way to reclaim it before it was lost. At that moment, Shadow revealed his strongest defense. The black light shield wrapped around him, forming 10 distinct layers of protection, each one capable of blocking a lethal strike. With this impenetrable barrier, his dominance on the battlefield became undeniable. The enemy unleashed a massive swing of dark energy, creating an opening in the chaos. Shadow's eyes sharpened as he seized the moment, declaring it was his chance to strike. He unleashed his technique Instant Shadow Slash. Countless strikes cut through the enemy with blinding speed, overwhelming the battlefield. But the boss's Reflect Damage state activated, causing the last 3 hits to bounce back at him. 7 layers of his black light shield remained, absorbing the lethal blows. Without it, he would have already been finished. The enemy gathered immense power, releasing waves of destructive energy that shook the battlefield. Shadow braced himself as the violent force crashed into him, his black light shield glowing under the strain. One by one, the layers shattered until none remained, leaving him completely exposed. The fire breath attacks were too fast. 7 shields were destroyed in an instant. He realized that if he had been even half a second slower, he would have been killed on the spot. The looter rushed forward and grabbed the Soul Warrior's dropped items, thinking he could escape unnoticed. Before he could get away, a sharp strike pierced through him, leaving him spitting blood in shock. Shadow appeared, striking him down while declaring he wouldn't let anyone steal what wasn't theirs. As the system notifications appeared, Shadow examined the loot. He noted the rare ability Safety First and chose not to use Blooming Flower on the man. Still, he realized the looter carried an enormous amount of lifespan, proof he had never once died. The monstrous enemy roared as Shadow stood firm, ready to face it once again. He reminded himself that his only options were relying on the blacklight shield and his instant shadow slash, slowly wearing the enemy down bit by bit. With controlled precision, he struck again. It wasn't fast, but it was steady and above all, safe. From a distance, others watched in awe. They realized how Shadow had managed his earlier victories. What seemed impossible before now made sense. His patience and careful tactics kept him alive while breaking the boss apart piece by piece. Shadow prepared his finishing move, channeling all his power into one decisive strike. With overwhelming force, he unleashed his final blow, slicing through the enemy in a storm of shadow energy. The onlookers were stunned. They realized he had single-handedly defeated the boss, confirming his identity as Gadon, the #1 ranked player. As the dust settled, the spoils of victory appeared. Among them shone a legendary treasure Greedy Hand Mythic, a reward fitting for his impossible feat. After the battle, Shadow examined his new Emerald tier armor. Just a single piece of it provided more defense than a full set of lower tier gear. With the added Black Flame effect reducing enemy defenses and resistances, it was even stronger than his previous items. He also unlocked Assassin's Intuition, allowing him to faintly detect stealthed enemies. The skill's potential was too valuable to ignore. Without hesitation, he upgraded the ability to Legendary rank. With level 5 anti-stealth and massive weak point bonuses, his precision became unmatched. He could land critical strikes effortlessly. Finally, he poured his remaining points into Shadow Stealth, pushing it to Legendary. His passive evade rate soared, and with its new ability to nullify all damage, his survival and power reached an entirely new level. One of his teammates rushed over excitedly, eager to know what loot had dropped this time. Shadow only sighed, noting how relentless she was in chasing after him. The group marveled at his progress, stunned that he had reached level 13 in just one night. Compared to their endless grinding, his speed was on another level entirely. As they joked around, she teased her companion for slacking, while Shadow watched silently. Her energy contrasted with his calm, making her persistence stand out even more. When it came time to handle trades, Shadow revealed the new items he had acquired. With the prices listed, he told them plainly if they wanted something, they could simply buy it. The trade was completed without fuss. Shadow mentioned he had something else for sale and asked if they knew about hideouts. They confirmed they had heard of them, explaining that in certain ruins, hideouts could serve as bases where supplies were stored and magical barriers activated to repel invasions. Shadow clarified further, noting that what they knew were only small-scale hideouts. The real one, like those in Radiac City, where far larger authorities had already secured several of them, proving their importance. With a calm but firm tone, Shadow reminded them just how valuable such a hideout truly was, hinting at the weight of what he was offering. Shadow revealed the loot, a Cathedral Sanctum hideout key, capable of covering 800 mu, a space larger and sturdier than most bases. The group was stunned, shouting in disbelief at the size. Such a hideout was more than they could have imagined. They quickly realized the scale. Every member could have their own room, and the defenses would be unmatched. Hesitantly, they asked how much he intended to sell it for. Shadow kept his composure, telling them to discuss their offer first before he decided. Quietly, he recalled that in his past life, a hideout like this was worth 2,000 years of lifespan. Selling it now could give him the power to reclaim his equipment, skills, and levels far sooner. As the talks wrapped up, Shadow prepared to leave when his ally stopped him, saying there was another favor they wanted to ask. News arrived that in Draken Town, 7 gold tier bosses had appeared together, wreaking havoc and killing countless people. They were willing to pay 10 years of lifespan if Shadow could eliminate them. Shadow's sharp gaze narrowed. If they were asking him for help despite having authority forces, it meant the threat was beyond normal limits. He asked directly, confirming the severity of the situation. The woman praised his insight, impressed at how accurately he grasped the situation. With admiration, she reaffirmed her belief that he was the only one capable of handling it. Reports came in that even when one of the gold tier bosses was defeated, it revived almost instantly. Worse, all 7 of them suddenly had their stats boosted, wiping out entire teams in seconds. Shadow analyzed the situation, realizing these weren't ordinary monsters. They were group bosses with revival abilities, making them far more dangerous. Clues pointed to the ancient god slate being behind it. Shadow recognized this as a rare opportunity he couldn't afford to miss. With the deal settled, he received 10 years of lifespan as payment. As he set off, his ally called out encouragement, impressed by his resolve. Shadow acknowledged her usefulness but stayed focused. 7 gold tier bosses meant immense rewards, potentially 50 years of lifespan, plus extra bonuses. The risk was deadly, but the gains were too valuable to ignore.
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.